Welcome to Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe with you along with Gary Doherty and Director of Media Relations Vince Brune. Fellas, good evening. How are we doing?
Good.
Good.
Good to be here.
Want to talk Emerald Downs a little bit?
Yep, season's winding down.
Yeah, indeed. 2 weeks to go at Emerald Downs. Once again, our schedule, Friday night, 6:30, Saturday at 5 p.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. And let's just start off, Gary, our promotions manager. Friday night is a fun time at Emerald Downs. We're looking forward to another one this Friday.
Yeah, Fab Friday. We got a live band singing some old school rock and roll called Red Herring. Also, the famous $1,000 horseshoe toss. So we get 3 competitors to come out and throw a horseshoe for $1,000, Joe. And this past weekend, we had a ringer.
Yeah. Vince, did you see that ringer?
I missed it.
You
I
missed
heard
it?
I heard
Okay.
all about it, though.
Okay,
King.
and the Trifecta King is wearing his crown because he had a pretty good week the week before, and he wanted to fancy himself as the track celebrity that night. So here he is, left-handed form, pretty good form there.
Wow.
That was a ringer
Yes.
thrown by Gary Doherty, our talent right here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Look at that, right around the post. Here's a replay. Boom.
Ooh.
I heard
I haven't seen that one.
your mouth was open about as wide as I've ever seen it. It was indeed the greatest physical athletic feat in Gary's career life.
You know, Joe.
Was it not?
Joe, it ranks right up there.
It does.
You know, the crowd, standing ovation. Vince, did you see the standing O?
Yeah.
No, I missed it, but now I just saw it happen with my own 2 eyes. And I got to say, it was a no-doubter. That was a big, high, arcing throw there. Nicely done.
Yep, I
Gary
might have to
tossed
retire.
a ringer, and Tom Porter of our parking department also threw a ringer earlier as the celebrity tosser. Then we have 3 contestants every Friday, so make sure if you come to the
Yes.
track, fill out your free entry blank. We'll have 3 contestants who actually would get $1,000 by throwing a ringer. You missed out on that, but the glory and the athletic achievement in your life, I think, was enough for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think maybe I should retire in sports now, huh? After that one.
Well, you know, we've documented your running, if you want to call it that, and your bull riding.
Bull riding's lackluster. But hey, I can referee and get to the right spot for a good angle and then we get a good call on the play.
Gary's an advanced basketball referee, so
Yeah.
I'll give you that. You bet. But nice job. So, again, contestants get a chance for $1,000 every Friday night at Emerald Downs. And live music out by the Winter Circle again.
Yeah, Red Herring will be
Yep.
playing, weather permitting. If the weather's bad, they'll be underneath the grandstand. Saturday, we have half-price specials during the races. We got draft beers, hot dogs, corn dogs,
Yeah.
popcorn, pretzels on Saturday night. That should be fun. And after the races, the band called the Retros will be heading out to play on the 5th floor.
The Retro's
Yes.
well known in the Northwest for
There's
a
all
long
the specials right there. Yes, here's some live video of the Retros playing right here on the 5th floor. Come on out Saturday night, right after the last race, between 8:30 and 9. They'll play for a few hours. Very fun time.
We're getting pretty well known for live music up on the 5th floor at Emerald Downs, racing at 5, and live music afterwards. And again, half price is great. We have many half price specials at the concession stands and beverage stands
Yes.
during racing on Friday or Saturday here at Emerald Downs. Saturday, that is September 15th. The Retros coming right up, 9 o'clock show, and it is free to attend as well. So live music at the track again. Let's go back to Friday for a second. We have a carryover in that jackpot pick 7. It is up to a little over $6,500, and the jackpot pick 7, of course, starts with the first race on Friday nights at 6:30. And football seasons has started as well. Hey, the Huskies are back to 500, Vince.
They are, and I think that was pretty much expected. So looking forward to, I think, a week from Saturday, the conference opener against Arizona State. Then we'll start to get a good gauge. But
Yeah.
they pretty much have to run the table, I think, if they still have title aspirations nationally.
Yeah, and the Cougars are undefeated. Had a shutout win last weekend, and a lot of Oregon fans on our show as well. The Oregon Ducks are piling up the points so far this year, too. That's going to be a heck of a matchup when the
Yes.
Cougars and Huskies play Oregon this year.
So yeah, sports pick 4 is on
Yeah.
Sunday. You got to pick 2 horse races and 2 football games. Usually the Sunday night game and the Monday night game. Get all 4 correct, you could win $250 cash voucher. If there's a tie, we go to the point total of the Monday night football game. And also, excuse me, on Monday night, the Seahawks are playing a road game at Chicago. And we have Norb, who's a big fan of the Seahawks. We'll have this big group out here Monday night. We'll have some drink specials, and come on down here, Emerald Downs. You can watch the football game, and also the casino stays open till 2 a.m.
That's right. The Clubhouse Casino here at Emerald Downs open till 2 a.m., 7 days a week. So keep that in mind as we'll have a bunch of Seahawk fans here Monday night for that football game. And Sunday, first race at 2 p.m. We're not going to have any stakes this weekend, but we had some last weekend to talk about, and we've got some coming up on closing weekend. But a book signing this weekend, and you're going to want to take a look at this. It's going to support Old Friends, that fantastic retirement home in Lexington, Kentucky, for horses. Horse retirement home. Dagmar Galithner Steiner, that is Joe Steiner's wife. Joe Steiner, of course, a very well-known Northwest jockey for many decades, and the son of Joe and Sally Steiner. And Vince, nice cause to support Old Friends this weekend.
Yeah, Old Friends is kind of on my bucket list to make it back. There's so many just tremendous thoroughbreds over the years have gone back there, and it's just, racehorse retirement is one of the real great needs in our industry, and Old Friends has done a sensational job to show the public that our old stars are not forgotten.
Right.
Yeah, Dagmar Steiner, she has done the drawings for the book. All the superstars of thoroughbred racing that have made an appearance or lived at Old Friends for some time, and all the proceeds for the book, again, go to Old Friends. That'll be Sunday from 2 to 4 right here at Emerald Downs. And we'll have
Joe,
some racing this
that's
weekend.
Our final rewards day. You swipe your card, you get a pretzel and a large soda complimentary.
Nice.
And if you get a pretzel, you like a lot of mustard and salt?
I definitely put something on there. Not so much salt, but mustard.
Vince?
Okay.
What's your call on pretzel?
Mustard.
Pretzels are good. I kind of go
Heavy
with
salt and mustard?
No, the salt is fine.
Yeah.
Kind of enough sodium already there, but yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut down on the sodium a little bit there, Kerry. Okay,
Will do.
We're going to take a short break here and come back and look at some last week activities at Emerald Downs. It was an action-packed weekend with the Washington Cup concluding and much more. We'll be back in a moment. Emerald Downs Weekly. Yeah, diet's a little bit important when you get to be our age.
That pretzel and that one of those 16-ounce beers, half off, would be a good deal.
Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Vince Brune. And I guess we already did the highlight on Friday. Do we have to show more stuff? Because we showed you
the ringer.
That was the highlight of the day, wasn't it?
We had
of the night,
multiple shots
the whole
there.
week.
No, there was actually a pretty good race Friday.
Yeah,
I think we should show it.
Let's look a little bit at Friday's racing here at Emerald Downs. About mid-card, horse by the name of Intermix came from off the pace. He's not there in the top 5 right now. He's coming on.
Yeah, there he and
wait, no, there he is.
Joe,
that's him. 8 horse, the one
He's the
horse.
one horse.
Forged into the lead late, and that's a big win on a couple fronts. That Saratoga West is one ahead of John Parker, 17-16 for leading owner. Saratoga West, of course, is Jeff Metz's barn name, and so they're going to go down to the wire with six racing days remaining in the trainer race. Jeff has a 43-38 lead over Blaine Wright. Blaine had a big week with 4 wins last week, including a stakes on Sunday. Blaine, of course, has won it 2 straight years, going for 3 in a row. Jeff ran off 3 straight from 2013 to 15. So they've been the 2 dominant trainers win-wise. And then, of course, Blaine, the last couple of years, has just very much dominated in stakes. He had 10 stakes in 2017, and then when Fly Far Away won the walk-up filly and mare last Sunday, that was already his 9th stakes winner this meet.
We've got those standings coming up later, but Vince Brune has all the stats. Check out the news and notes at emeralddowns.com every Thursday afternoon. What, Vince, about 4:30 or 5?
Yeah, usually about then. We'll recap last week and then look ahead to this weekend. Detailed standings and all the trainer, horse, owner categories and multiple winners, so forth, so on.
If you're following us on Twitter, we sent a tweet out that afternoon, too.
If you're into buyer figures, we've got all of last week's figures on there. So, for example, Hit the Beach, who we'll see here in a little bit, got an 84, which was easily a career high for him in his big walk-up win last Sunday.
Okay, so Saratoga West, Jeff Metz, double on Friday, and John Parker right with Saratoga West for leading owner. That's going down to the wire. Our feature race was of interest on a Friday night at Emerald Downs. Let's go back a couple of years to the 2016 Emerald Downs Derby. Barkley came into the race undefeated, and let's watch that now.
Barkley's on the extreme outside. Mach 1 rules is done. He calls it an afternoon. Here comes Barkley on the outside of Opportunistic. Opportunistic and Barkley to decide it. It is Opportunistic. Barkley on the outside trying to surge by. Opportunistic. Barkley headed head, and Opportunistic beat Barkley.
Opportunistic edged out Barkley in the Friday night feature. There's trainer Mike Puich, and you had an undefeated horse in Barkley. He was 2 for 2 at 2. He won all those close stakes against Mach 1 rules as a 3-year-old, and there was a lot of drama in that race, and Opportunistic got it, fellas.
Yeah, and just watching that again, I forgot how just Barkley looked pretty much a winner. It looked like he had him measured there most of the stretch, but Opportunistic really dug in nicely there. And Opportunistic had not won since that win over Barkley.
He actually did win right after that race.
Oh, yes, he did. He won the stakes up at Hastings.
The preview to the BC Derby.
That's right, on August 22nd, 2016. And then he hadn't won since till last Friday.
And let's watch that race right now here at Emerald Downs. This is last Friday night. Rocco Bowen aboard for trainer Mike Puich, owners Mark DiDomenico and Glenn Todd. And Rocco got Opportunistic to the lead. He'd been trailing by 10, 15 lengths in some recent races. Look at him fight back like he did against Barkley. He would not let the runner-up Hot Bobby by there in the Friday night feature. And Rocco pretty proud. The fellas, Mike and Rocco, are talking in the winner's circle. It's like one mount a year. Rocco rides for Puich, and last year it was a winner. And Gary, Rocco's got a chance to jump right there into Emerald Downs history further.
Right. This could be his third straight year winning 100-plus races, and also leading rider for 3 straight years. Just one behind Ricky Fraser's record of 4. So another great season for Rocco Bowen. I guess after the season ends, Rocco's going to go home and kind of chill out for a while, right, Vince? Take a few months off from racing.
Well, there's talk about that. He's also mentioned perhaps riding in Southern California, which would be interesting. So we'll see. We'll let the dust settle. I know towards the end of the meet, he rides a lot of races, guys. So, he had a spill and a training mishap last Saturday, came back and rode all 10 races Sunday, or at least the first 8, I think. And he's a pretty fit rider, so it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah.
That win on Opportunistic, that's what great riders do. They have the ability to change a horse's style.
Exactly.
And that's certainly what he did there. And Opportunistic also got a little bit of clash relief, which I think he needed there. But that was a pretty nice form reversal and a great ride by Rocco.
And Rocco has 97 wins heading into this weekend.
Right, needs 3 more.
Let's take a look at some action on Saturday at Emerald Downs. Once again, first race at 5 p.m. And the first race, Candarosa, has just been solid for Larry and Sharon Ross, the trainers. You put her in at a mile. This is her 3rd win at the meeting, and all 4 of her career victories are at a mile.
I know this win here really well because that's Zanab coming up for 2nd for the Emerald Racing Club. So coming out of the race, both horses from the Larry and Sharon Ross barn, Candarosa and Zanab, both exit the race 3-time winners at the meet, which is pretty cool.
You bet. So Candarosa doing well.
That was Esjuan Flores up.
Yeah.
Esjuan has ridden that horse well, and the horse is nice and tactical at a mile, and she showed it there. She's had a nice meet.
Esjuan's had a great meet also for the bettors. He's ranked number 2 in our betting rank for the jockeys behind Anne Sanguinetti, so super season for Esjuan here.
In the program every day, the betting rank, which combines winning percentage and win payoff. It's Gary's, the mad scientist, his concoction a few years ago. We like it. Let's go to the 3rd race on Saturday, and it's been a really good season for a horse by the name of Party for One. He had 3 route wins at the meeting. This is 6.5 furlongs. He's going to run a big race here, Vince.
You bet. And with this one, Party for One becomes only our 5th 4-time winner at the meet, which is kind of surprising this late in the season. So this one, I believe, has changed barns a couple times at the meet. So this horse, and he always seems to get off a little bit of a price too. Paying $11.80 there.
9-2. Jesse Velasquez trainee, Lionel Camacho Flores aboard. Further on Saturday, we had a 2-year-old maiden special weight race, and that Mr. Frank is on the lead with the white blinkers there, and this is a heated battle. Behind him is a filly in the pink silks. That's Mike Puich trainee, Motion Emotion. But Mr. Frank's going to hold on. There was an inquiry here as he wavered a little bit there coming down the stretch. Mr. Frank is a Kentucky bred by Blame, owned by Randall and Rossi and Lucarelli. Javier Matias aboard. That was our 2-year-old action on Saturday. We're going to take a timeout, come back and look at more last week at Emerald Downs, and the Washington Racing Hall of Fame was front and center last weekend as well. We'll be right back.
That was
betting rink.
That was a good 2-year-old race there. That was pretty loaded for a big special here. Yeah, Mr. Frank had a pretty wide trip for himself.
7 first-time starters.
That's good.
Emerald Downs Weekly. Thanks for joining us every Thursday night at 11 p.m. and replayed again Friday mornings at 9 a.m. We're talking last weekend at Emerald Downs. We haven't got to the stakes action yet, but always, each racing day, plenty of opportunities to shine for horsemen. And let's pick it back up mid-card on Saturday. Trainer Chris Stensley had a good result, as often her horses or her riders with the blue silks of the One Horse Will Do Corporation of Jody Peets, and Jody has a lot of co-owners. Vince, Stensley Barn 1-2 in this one.
Yeah, first 5 races Saturday we had 2 trainers go 1-2. Larry and Shern with Candarosa and Zanab in race 1, and then Used to Have Money and Only the High Road in race 5. And this was a nice win. Again, those who follow figures, this horse came back with a 74, which is super high for the level. So horse ran great. Only the High Road a good race too to finish second.
Used to Have Money, Only the High Road for Chris Stensley. Okay, 1-2 in that race. And let's go on to the 7th on Saturday, as it was almost starting to get dark as the summer is winding down. Still a couple weeks to go, but Awesome Returns actually had a pretty good year. He's won a couple coming into this race at Emerald, and I think he had one in California as well, and he pulled away a pretty classy victory. He was the favorite in the race.
He is classy.
I believe.
He's got
he was 8-5.
over $500,000 in career earnings, and that includes 3 wins in 2014 at Santa Anita, including the $250,000 Snow Chief Stakes. So this is a back class runner here. And he's going in good form. That'd be at a little bit lower level these days, but you could see he won that race pretty easily right there. So
John Parker colors too.
John Parker, that was win number 16 for John. So John's going for a hat trick as a winning owner. So, and I know that means a lot to John.
Sure does.
It means a lot to any owner to win
Two-time
races.
defending champ.
You bet, and that's what it's all about. So that's going to be a fun race to the wire.
That put him one behind, as we mentioned earlier, Saratoga West, the Jeff Metz conglomerate. Okay, let's go to Sunday action at Emerald Downs. First race, 2 p.m. We really had a nice day of weather, the Van Horn family was out in force. Van Horn and extended family. I think there's some grandkids and maybe even some great-grandkids. What were they doing? They were celebrating the matriarch of the family, Perpetua's 100th birthday. Now, she did pass away a few years ago, but you might be able to read 100th birthday, Perpetua, the matriarch of the Van Horn family, and by all accounts, they had a great time at the track Sunday, Vince.
I'll tell you what, they hit the wire in race 8. Ever Special got up to win by a head, and me and Chrissy, my assistant up there, were looking down and said, look at that group. They are going crazy. I mean, all those people you saw in that picture, they were all jumping up and down and screaming down by the winner's circle. Well, it turned out this number 7 won. I guess they have 7 grandkids, so I think they all had a little wager on it. Hey, that was great. They were really having a ball, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and our group sales department is ready for groups of any size at Emerald Downs. We're talking over 1,000 if you have a group, but Emerald Downs is a great place for groups and businesses, parties. We have so many floors, so many different rooms, our own audio visual, our own kitchen, parking right next to the building. How's that for a sell job?
That's good, and it's year-round.
Yep,
that's right. Any month.
Yeah.
Come on out.
New Year's Eve party at 11:59 if you want. Okay, let's go to Sunday racing. The first race was a maiden special weight event for 2-year-old fillies, and 46 Carats was making her career debut, and she is going to run a big race. She had the outside post, a daughter of gemologist, a Kentucky-bred, purchased back in Kentucky. Mike Puich trainee, Javier Matias aboard for Dr. Mark DiDomenico, and also Bob Rondo, part of the ownership group. And he was down there in the winner's circle. There is the filly.
Yeah.
Bob actually has a great eye for young horses. He proved that way back in the 80s.
Twice written.
His father had horses, and Bob loves the game. And, of course, he's a retired Husky broadcaster.
Famous.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Famous.
that's a pretty nice looking filly right
Yeah.
there. She ran well, and she is good looking, as you can see right there. She was kind of toying with that field.
Big and long and
Right.
a long stride. I wonder if they're thinking Gottstein. Mike Puich did that a few years ago where he turned around a maiden winner with Prime Engine and won the Gottstein. Let's move forward. Another 2-year-old race on Sunday, and Mike Puich once again. There are the Dr. DiDomenico Silks. R-rated. She's on the lead, and fellas, she was the only filly in the field, also owned by Mike Muddy Waters. She is going to hold off this Colt Johnny 5 and win this maiden race. There it is, R-rated, 9-2, the only filly in the field. Wow. And that gave Mike Puich his 5th win among 2-year-olds. That's tops at Emerald Downs so far this year, and he had that other filly run well on Saturday behind Mr. Frank, a first-time starter.
Javier Matias, that was 3 wins, I think his 3rd win of on the day Sunday.
Was.
Pretty polished ride again there from Javier. He lets him come up, and he's always seems to have a little something left, Javier, in the stretch.
What is this, the Mike Puich show? Opportunistic, all his fillies?
Yes.
You like it so far, Gary?
It's good. Mike's been here a long time, and then they breed good horses, and they support the game, and it's great to see his horses get to the winner's circle.
Okay, the Washington Cup split over 3 weekends, spread out, and Sunday we had a route race, the Express Bet Washington Cup filly and mare. Let's listen and watch to the finish.
Here's Gazing to challenge on the grandstand side. Guardian 1 launching a late bid at the rail. Center of the racetrack, Fly Far Away is rolling late as well. 16th to go, anyone of 5. On the outside, Fly Far Away, rising to the occasion, wins the filly mare stakes.
Fly Far Away over Don't Kiss and Tell, the 3-year-old filly. Gazing was 3rd, a multiple horse finish. That is trainer Blaine Wright in his Seahawk jersey. Vince, that win capped off an amazing feat at Emerald Downs this year.
It is, and
It's not going to be broken, we know that.
Well, one of the great feats we've seen in our lifetime, Joe, of course, was Woody Stevens with 5 Belmont wins. But we have 5 filly and mare stakes here at Emerald Downs, and this one, of course, for Washington bred.
Right.
And he won all races with 5 different horses.
Amazing.
He swept the series, Invested Prospect, Alliford Bay, Top Quality, Reginella, and then Fly Far Away. Speaking of Reginella, she won the Emerald Distaff, and then she was up at Hastings Saturday and won the Delta Colleen up there over Top Quality. So Blaine Wright has amazing depth in that filly and mare division. And Joe, hats off to you. Going through the program late Sunday night, and I happened to notice your picks were in there, and you had Fly Far Away right on top, $20 horse.
9-1.
Got a little lucky with that one. Fly Far Away and Todd and Shad Hansen won that race. The owners a couple of years ago with Ethan's
And how
baby.
about Austin Solis? That's his first
that's
stakes
right.
win here at Emerald Downs.
He'll take care of the jockeys. Hey, let's go to the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic, our other stake on Sunday.
Mike Benz, Gold down at the inside. Up along the outside, Hit the Beach, launching a late bid as well. And Elliott Bay in deep stretch from the outside. Hit the Beach at 8-1's opening up now. And Hit the Beach in the upset scores the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic.
Scored he did. That was a 3-length win. First stakes victory for Hit the Beach, like Fly Far Away. Pat Mullins, the trainer, the first 90-year-old trainer to win a stake race at Emerald Downs.
And Harbor the Gold at 9-1, Joe.
Yeah, Harbor the Gold had 3 Washington Cup winners, along with Sip and Fire and Fuzzy Dolphin, and Hit the Beach. So there are the leading sire standings for Washington Cup history. And this is the 2018 Emerald Downs trainer stake standings. Blaine Wright with Fly Far Away moved up to 9. He's got a shot at the record, Vince. There's going to be 4 stakes on closing day.
If he would sweep them all. So that's a long shot, but I wouldn't put anything past him.
Yeah, Steve Bullock having a great year. 5 stakes wins from 8 starts. So, and there are the stakes standings, as we mentioned. Okay, we're going to come back and talk a little bit of Washington Cup and Washington Racing Hall of Fame history right here on Emerald Downs Weekly. You're not getting much airtime this week so far.
It's good racing.
Gary Hit the Beach was 8-1, not 9-1.
Huh?
But it was
segment.
It was still a good payoff. So not bad.
$20. He paid $20, didn't he?
No, he paid 18.
Emerald Downs Weekly here from Emerald Downs. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, Vince Brune, and Mustard Plaster entered the Hall of Fame along with 4 other highly deserving inductees. Mustard Plaster on the left, the horse. Doris Harwood, the trainer. Penny Farms, the breeder. Juan Gutierrez, the jockey. And Dr. George Tadaro, Lifetime Achievement. And Mustard Plaster was a little before our time, fellas, but we've heard his name, and let's see his accomplishments right now. John Carlson at his Pilchuck farm mated home stallion Mr. Mustard with the mare Speedy Pet, and in doing a foal for mare trade, Fraser Morrison of Anacortes made an astute selection among the 6 yearlings. This fine-looking colt was named Mustard Plaster, and though he didn't show much ability at age 2, his career went on a meteoric rise of fantastic finishes. Trained by Roy Steele, he won 2 1962 Longacre Stakes as a 3-year-old, the Tacoma Handicap in an up-at-the-wire finish, and the British Columbia Handicap against older horses. Doug McPhee began a career in racing in the early 1960s, walking hots for trainer Steele.
Our good horse in those days was Mustard Plaster. He was a beauty. He did quite well for Roy as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. He was a stud horse, so he was a handful. He could be at times. So, but yeah, he was fine. I don't remember him causing too much trouble, but he was a good feeling horse. I remember that about him. A shiny copper penny. He was a real pretty color. We were all watching him and seeing what he would do down there when he went to California. You know, there was no surprise there that he turned out to be the way he was. Yeah, this horse had a real awesome. I've never seen a horse since that had the move last quarter mile that Mustard Plaster had.
1963 was better yet. A Governor's Handicap victory, and next out, he was favored in the 28th Longacres Mile, finishing a close second to Full Regalia. He added the Bay Meadows Handicap for a Washington Horse of the Year title. The mid-1960s at Hollywood Park was an incredible time for Washington-bred runners. Travel Orb and Biggs would win the Californian and both placed in the Hollywood Gold Cup. But first, it was Mustard Plaster. With 2 stakes wins at Golden Gate, including the San Francisco Mile, and stakes placings at Santa Anita and Hollywood Park, 1964 would be even better than before for Mustard Plaster. He won the prestigious Californian in June, setting a single race earnings record for a Washington bred, $70,500. It was undoubtedly the greatest field in history that a Washington bred horse had won. Behind Mustard Plaster that day was the reigning and 5-time Horse of the Year Kelso. Also, Cal-bred superstar Native Diver and that season's Hollywood Gold Cup winner, Colorado King. This rare Hollywood Park video, provided by archivist Kip Hannon, covers Mustard Plaster's next start, the Hollywood Gold Cup.
Number 10 is Mustard Plaster, winner of the Californian, with Jack Leonard aboard, the Washington State entry. And number 11 is Cadiz, with Bill Harmatz. Cadiz was the winner of the Gold Cup last year. And if we had to pick out one more horse for you to talk about, Charlie, I guess it would be Mustard Plaster.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most consistent horses I ever saw, and he's always tough to beat.
Number 10 is Mustard Plaster. Mustard Plaster is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Fraser Morrison. Bill Peterson is the trainer. The rider is Jack Leonard, and the weight is 119 pounds. The number 10 horse, Mustard Plaster, is the exact opposite of Native Diver. He saves his run for the last part and is not usually close the first part of the race. He'll be closing strongly. He won the Californian here. And there they go. Native Diver is going to the front. Viking Spirit is second. Bold Commander third. Final Command is fourth. Drillside fifth. Colorado King sixth on the rail. Desert Chief, Mr. Consistency, Jealousy, Cadiz, and Mustard Plaster Going by the stand the first time, it's Native Diver in front by 3 lengths. Into the stretch, it's Colorado King on the outside by a head. Native Diver is second by 2 lengths. Viking Spirit third, and here comes Mustard Plaster in the middle of the track. It's Colorado King in front, Native Diver, and Mustard Plaster. Colorado King in front, and Colorado King is the winner by a length and a half. Mustard Plaster second by a length.
Washington Hall of Fame jockey Jack Leonard rode Mustard Plaster in the Californian and Gold Cup races.
Oh, I didn't have to take him back. He took himself back. If he didn't, he just sits on him. He just kept dropping back. So he dropped back, and we was 24 lengths out of him at one time. And he made his run, and he just smoked everybody. It was just running away from the field, really. It was a great race. Mustard Plaster was my all-time favorite. Just loved him. He ran so hard, had a great personality. Came from way behind and just smoked him down the stretch. It was a thrill to ride him because he was passing so many horses so fast. He was really, really something.
Mustard Plaster would conclude 1964 with Washington-bred single-season record earnings of over $166,000 and his second consecutive State Horse of the Year title. The earnings mark would stand until 1979. Standing at stud in Washington and California, he would sire 75 foals and 4 stakes winners, one of them being Calico, winner of the Washington Lassie Stakes. Record setter, stretch running superstar, and conqueror of champions, Mustard Plaster joins the Washington Racing Hall of Fame. Emerald Downs Weekly continues, and again, Washington Racing Hall of Fame last week, and Mustard Plaster, as we might agree, a very deserved winner. And we're going to take a look at the Penny Farms history, and it wasn't just the black silks with the white P, Vince. They purchased horses for others.
No, those have been prominent as long as I've gone to the races. But you think of horses like Theologist and Irish Bear in the mid to late 80s. Yeah. And, it's been they've been dominant in every facet of the game, really.
Yeah. All right. The Penny Farms into the Washington Racing Hall of Fame. Alfred E. Penny and family migrated from Iowa in 1901 and began a dynasty of breeding and racing in this state that carries on today in its 9th decade. Penny settled in Natchez and raced at the first Longacres meeting in 1933 and well into the 1960s. Gramps Penny served as the first vice president of the Washington Horse Breeders Association. Son A.J. Penny naturally had an interest in breeding and racing, was a founding director of the Yakima Valley Turf Club, and was Washington Cherry King of 1957. His 3 children, Jim, Gene, and Bob, moved the Penny name forward to a lasting influence in this state's history. Jean Penny Harris became a school teacher, helped out with the operations accounting, and had show horses. Currently, she breeds and races at Emerald Downs under Clemens View Farm. Bob Penny was, from every account, a tremendously important individual, not only in Penny Farms operations, but the entire scope of the local thoroughbred industry. A graduate of the WSU Veterinary School, he did the hands-on work for penny runners and many other trainers. He was a student of bloodlines, aiding in matings and purchases. He worked closely with track management on improving and progressing policies with horsemen. He procured nationally renowned guests and speakers that grew the WTBA's Horseman's Short Course. He was a president of the WTBA, and he furthered horse care through organizing shuttles to WSU and back.
Bob was quite a character and had a great sense of humor, and he was the breeding guy. And so I remember probably the first time I ever saw him was when Mary Lou Griffin and I made a tour of the state of Washington taking pictures of stallions. And we stopped at Penny Farms to take Ramesses and Zulu Tom. And Bob was unusual in that time frame in that he knew how the horses should have looked, and that made him a little different than some of the places where they had no clue. But anyway, but he was really actually quite helpful when we were doing that, and we got those cover pictures of particularly Ramesses. That thing is gorgeous. I mean, it's a really beautiful picture because he was a really pretty horse.
For the home operation, there were scores of winners and stakes horses. Mr. Banjo and Wunderbar in the 50s, Mrs. Wong, Wilbur, and Foskett in the 60s. The farm stood several prominent stallions, including Cold Command, Ramesses, Kotzebue, Berrydown, and Zulu Tom. Jim Penny was the everyday horseman, breaking and training, and an astute judge of talent. He made several highly successful purchases for Penny Farms and countless other clients. Jim and Betty Penny's daughters, Kay and Jill, loved horses and worked every summer for the training operation. They weren't, however, all that upset when school resumed in the fall and they could sleep in. Longacres Mile winners began in the early 1970s. Silver Mallet, purchased by Maurice Hitchcock. Theologist, owned by Arden Archer and Penny Farms, ridden by Kay's husband, Bryson Cooper. Jim Penny and family, Bryson and Kay Cooper and son Jeff, and Jack and Jill Fabulich moved to Homestretch Farm in 1990. Jeff Cooper was a successful jockey until he grew into full adulthood. An 11-time winner for Homestretch was Rainbow Rider, and her 1996 foal was Edinator. In his first career start, he opened up a 12-blank lead ahead of soon-to-be multiple stakes winners Vino Rossi and Mula Gula, and then coasted home to victory. 2 years later, Edinator was ready for another huge effort in the 2000 Longacres Mile.
A furlong to run. Can Edinator hold on is stopping. 2 in front. Big Ten is second. Then Handy and Bold and Crafty Boy. But Edinator by a length and a half is going on to win the Longacres Mile. Edinator first.
The team rejoiced with a homebred mile victory and a track record in the process. There were more mile wins. The barn had Bob and Bruce Sparling's Sabertooth ready for his very best on the Northwest biggest stage. And Paul and Lori Heist's purchase of flamethrowing Texan gave Jim Penny and the operation their record 5th Longacres Mile winner. Arco Iris, a stakes-winning mare, has had 4 foals to race, all winners. Her son, I Keep Saying, broke Sabertooth's 6.5 furlong North American record.
And as they go inside the final furlong, this horse gets better and better. And I Keep Saying, to me, is a stakes quality horse, headed to better. And I Keep Saying will go on and win by about 5 to 6 lengths. That is a drumming.
Daughter Kay has been her father's very able assistant for 5 decades. And since Emerald Downs opened, she's overseen daily training. Jill has always been an important member with breaking, early lessons, and turnout care at Homestretch. Jim Penny, who passed in 2017, was an inaugural member of the Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. He was a great horseman and an idea guy. He saw the possibility of revenue from full card simulcasting before its time. He was behind the beginning of Indian relay racing at Emerald Downs and has been a mentor to many young horsemen. A tremendous legacy of breeding, racing, and service, Penny Farms is a deserved member of the Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. What a tremendous legacy the Penny family has left in Washington history. And we're going to go on to our trivia question of the week. Well, first, let's recap last week.
Yeah,
the question was the first horse to set a track record in a Washington Cup race. There it is, Starbird Road, 2006. Boy, he ended that season just whipping by sprinters left and right, winning races. He was tremendous. 6 furlongs, 107-2. Jeff Hoy knew that answer, and he has won a box for 4.
Sharon Ross horse.
Yeah, Sharon and Larry Ross trained Starbird Road. Rick Beal, the owner. Okay, the new question is, which horse has the most starts in Emerald Downs history? Who's raced here the most time? Send your answers to trivia@emeralddowns.com. You could win a box for 4 with parking and admission and the whole works. 2 weeks to go. We'll be right back with our more segments here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Vince, would that be over 100 starts, you think?
Yeah, I would think so.
110, 105.
Hope you enjoyed our show. We still have, how many segments left, Gary?
One, singular. One segment.
Singular, okay. One segment remaining here on Emerald Downs Weekly, and those videos, Hall of Fame videos, including Doris Harwood, George Tadaro, and Juan Gutierrez will all be on YouTube later this week. So check that out for some great Washington racing history from our Hall of Fame ceremony last Sunday. Friday night, racing at 6:30. It's a Fab Friday, Gary.
Yes, we got 2 remaining coming out. Toss a horseshoe, a ringer, $1,000.
Is that the one you threw?
This is it.
Wow.
Yeah, $1,000 for a ringer if you're a contestant, not an honorary horseshoe tosser.
And
right,
music during the races as well?
Red Herring's going to come out and play their first appearance. They play classic rock and roll. Hopefully it'll be nice weather so they can play up by the winner's circle.
7 races and a jackpot 20-cent pick 7 carryover. That'll start the first race, a little over $6,500 in that jackpot carryover. Saturday, 5 o'clock post time. We'll have fun on a Saturday and a little bit of a milestone number for this Saturday, Vince.
It is. Saturday marks, Joe, this is probably staggering to you. You've been here for most of them. 2,000th day of live racing at Emerald Downs. Of course, it all began June 20th, 1996. Day 1,000 was July 4th, 2006, and day 2,000 will be September 15th, 2018. And during that period, we've had 17,432 races. So
there's some numbers for you.
There are some numbers, and Saturday's feature, just looking at a peek, is a good one. It's for 3-year-olds, and I go in 6.5, and I see Cody's Choices in there. A real fast horse, comes off a real nice second to Argosy Fleet. And Smoothie Lee's in there, stakes placed at the meeting against, I believe, your horse, Joe, Sippin' Fire, maybe early in the meet. So nice feature race and a little bit of a milestone.
Okay, and then Saturday after the races?
Well, during the races, we got specials.
That's right.
You got specials, draft beers and popcorn, ice cream. You can get an ice cream cone and an ice cream bar, each of them half price. And Phil likes that coffee and espresso. So that's all going out during the races. And right after the races on floor 5, the Retros return for another show. That should be a lot of fun. Big crowd show up for the Retros. We have beverages, lots of dancing, fun times. Also, we have a casino right next door, 15 table game. So if you're coming to races on Saturday night, stay afterwards and enjoy some good music.
Half price specials on Saturday, this Saturday, and our closing Saturday, September 22nd as well. So some good stuff. The Retros, very popular Northwest band. That should be a good crowd Saturday after racing here at Emerald Downs. Corrections, well, I said segments, and it was just one segment. Put that on the list. Yeah. Gary had a horse winning at 9-1 when he was hit the beach, was really 8-1.
I had opportunistic, not winning.
We were all off by 1.
Emerald Derby, and he actually had one. That's raced right after the Emerald Derby up at Hastings.
We missed it by 1, all of us. And hey, again, Friday racing starts at 6:30, a Fab Friday. Beverage specials on Friday nights as well.
Let's pick a horse.
Yeah, who do you like on Friday night, Gary?
I went to race 2. John Parker horse that was claimed. Front Row Friends, just won by 10 lengths. And this horse, believe it or not, claimed off Jeff Metz and Saratoga West. And they're battling for the leading owner. So that's kind of brings some intrigue in the final 2 weekends of the season. So I got Kutan riding for John Parker.
Okay. Vince, how about you?
Well, this might be kind of a chalky pick, but I'll go to the feature race on Friday. And again, this looks like a kind of a setup for Wesley. He looks like he can sit back what is going to be a scorching pace if there are no scratches. So I think Wesley will be. He's a good horse, and he's had a little bit of a rough patch here, but he's still good enough to beat these horses.
I agree with that. And a Blaine Wright trainee, he might make those training standings a little closer. I'm going to go to the 4th race with Triple G, a Preston Boyd trainee. He won his first out of the year back in June, and he's coming off about a month layoff. He hasn't raced for a month, but when he raced last, it was a good one. 8,000, he fits nicely. He's got tactical speed, outside post. Julian Couton aboard for Preston Boyd, a son of Harbor the Gold. Does that sire ever have any winners at this track?
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah. So, okay, there's 3 different looks at Friday night racing here at Emerald Downs. And again, Sunday, first race at 2 p.m. No stakes this week, but how about that stakes quadruple header on closing day, the 23rd.
You bet. We'll have the noms for the Getaway Day Stakes, which is $100,000 for 3-year-olds. Joe, you're sipping fire going for 5 stakes wins at the meet. We'll have the Gottstein that day. Those are both a mile and a 16th. Then the Pete Peterson for 3-year-olds and up at 6.5. That's 25. And then I believe, what is it, the Fan Appreciation Overnight Stakes at $25,000 for fillies and mares at a mile. So
let Blaine Wright know about that race.
I'm sure he's got something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 stakes on closing day here at Emerald Downs, and that's again September 23rd, a week from Sunday.
That's Jersey Day.
Jersey Day, okay. Let's hear about it.
Any sports jersey, and we'll let you in for free. Also, we'll have $1 specials throughout the day. So good closing day. Yeah, 4 stakes races. Everybody can wear a fancy jersey. I might break out maybe a Breaker jersey from the 80s.
Okay.
Seattle Breakers.
Seattle
Sounds
Breakers,
good.
since hockey's coming back to Seattle here shortly, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are you going to wear?
like
What
it.
jersey you want to wear?
I'm supposed to wear a tie on Sunday.
Oh, closing day?
Yeah.
Boat day and a tux. Remember the days when you guys wore tuxes?
Mile day.
Oh, not
Opening
closing
day.
Mile day, not closing day.
Yeah. Hey, we also are going to have a 1.5-mile race on closing weekend. That's going to be exciting. We had a 1.25 miles last year, but this will be the first 1.5 miles in some time as we close the marathon series.
You bet. The Horsemen helping Horsemen. The first 2 legs have gone quite well.
They have been exciting.
Yeah. Been a lot of claiming activity, some good racing. So I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And Atapeak, of course, DQ'd from his most recent Tiz Jolie, got the official victory at the 1.25 mile distance. And, of course, we had 2 legs of the first division at 1 mile and an 1/8. So we're going to go 1.5 miles at Emerald Downs on closing weekend as well. And there is a report that Robertino Diodoro, that trainer who wins all around the country, Sky Wonder might be running in that Getaway Stakes. He just won the BC Derby.
Is it Sky Wonder or Sky Promise?
Sky
Promise.
Thank
you. But no, that was
correction.
But
that's 2.
That was a beautiful win. A horse we all know from the Muckleshoot Derby, Weekend Wizard, looked like he was home, and Sky Promise came and got him. So that would be a neat addition if he comes.
Oh, yeah.
Join us next week, and thanks for watching this time on Emerald Downs Weekly. See you at the track.
Yes.
Okay. Another correction. Jeez, I had 2. Another correction.
Sky Wonder. Okay. Sky Wonder.